Hi, everybody. This is Andrea Paquette. I am president and co-founder of the Stigma-Free Mental Health Society, and I am so excited to welcome you to another episode of Stigma-Free Voices. Today, we have Scilla Andreen. Is that
Andreen.
correct?
Andreen.
I'll just say Sheila.
Yeah.
And everyone says Paquetti for my name, so it's pretty
Right?
funny. Yeah, or Pocket. Yes, definitely. So, yeah, I'm just very excited. I met you in New York at the Real Mental Health Foundation's event, the summit. And I'm so happy that we're connecting again. So, do you want to say hello, where you're coming from? I would love if you could just do that, and then we'll jump in. I'll read the bio. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Right now I'm in Palm Springs, which is awesome. Based in Seattle normally, but down here helping my mom. So I'm kind of juggling a lot of different things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good to have somebody from the US of A. I have so many new friends there. So yeah, being a Canadian charity, we're always very excited to be connecting with people like you from the United States. Yeah, so I thought I could just jump into the bio and then we could jump into the questions. Does that sound okay, Sheila?
Sounds awesome.
Okay. So Sheila is the founder and CEO of Impactful Networks, where she blends brain science, storytelling, and prevention to help people understand what's happening in their minds and their bodies, and so they can learn to self-regulate before a crisis hits. She created the Creative Coping Toolkit. I'm so excited to talk more about that, which is a science-based, film-driven program. It's used in schools, workplaces, and communities worldwide. Her award-winning films include Angst, Like, The Upstanders, and Race to be Human. They have reached millions and are widely used in education and also in corporate settings to build empathy, emotional literacy, and resilience. She's also the founder of the Impactful Fund, which is a nonprofit dedicated to making mental health education free and accessible for schools. Her latest work, GiGi, a multilingual brain science-based mental health coach, brings practical preventative support to people anytime, anywhere, in every spoken language. That is amazing. Sheila is a mother of 6 and resides in Seattle, Washington. So welcome, Sheila. What a bio. I'm so interested and excited to dive into all the different facets of the work that you do, your passions, and yeah, let's start off with Impactful Networks. So the Impactful Networks, they create powerful mental health films, this organization, for thousands of schools and businesses and government agencies, as we mentioned. So what's one of the most important things that you've learned from creating this program and taking it out globally?
You know, it's funny, as I listen to you say all that, honestly, it's the power of story, because we really haven't had the resources to do marketing, right? Like full on marketing campaigns. It is purely, I would say, mostly word of mouth. And just like anything, I mean, come on, we can have a conversation with a total stranger. What are you watching? What are you binging? What are you, like, so when you put that, use that context in mental health films, people they watch it, they start talking, they are active listeners when you're watching a movie. So movies are, I think, one of the most powerful mediums on the planet, as is music and art and poetry. But yeah, that's probably my biggest takeaway is, listening to you say, yeah, we're in thousands of schools, and yeah, we've been utilized in 90 countries, subtitled into 17 languages. And then people, very passionately reaching out and saying, we need tip sheets, we need take-home materials, we need classroom materials, we need something for the employees and their families. And so when you think about it, is empowering people to speak up and demand more because they feel they have power to do that. So I always think this program was created by the people, for the people, and I'm really just the messenger.
I love that. Lived experience is so vital. And at Stigma-Free Mental Health Society, that is one of our biggest pillars, is to, have the people with lived experience build the programs. And it sounds like what you're doing is very similar. And yes, the power of story can be so moving, important. And when somebody shares their lived experience, it's like people can relate to that and they know they're not alone.
Yeah. I also think movies, the beauty of movies is you can scale it. Like,
Mhm.
we filmed kids from 6 years old to wise people of 99 years old, as well
Mhm.
as, of course, educators, mental health professionals, brain scientists. But when you get to hear those stories, um, and you can reach an entire student population in a week of wellness, showing it in every classroom. It's
Yeah.
43 minutes, right? They're all under an hour, and then have the conversation and then all the tools to keep the conversation going. Um, and then because you get that momentum going, how do you keep stoking the fire, right? So that we can
Mhm.
mobilize it and truly make change. That's where GiGi comes in, which is our AI kind of mental health coach. And GiGi pulls from the toolkit and can sort of customize the toolkit to serve whatever, whether it's math class or PE
Yeah.
or an educator training program. So that's suddenly put the power in the people's hands to use the
Yeah.
toolkit in a way that best serves their community.
Yeah. Is it online and phone, or how does it work?
It's online. You can access it through any internet device,
Love
and
it.
you can watch the films. There's probably, of the 300 assets, there's about 80% of it is film based. And
Yeah.
all of the activities are based in cognitive behavioral therapy. It's been pressure tested. And, it's funny, I'm sort of moving away from leading with mental health,
Mhm.
incorporating more brain science, because it's all connected. And if we can start to understand how to hack our own brains, disrupt our own patterns, just with like little micro changes, micro habits,
Yeah.
we can make change. And when you can do that at a community level, you can truly change an entire school culture that is sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So impacting and such important work that you're doing. And that kind of led into my next question, which is really good. So, did you want to add how stories and films can change the brain differently than facts or just advice?
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is that
Mhm.
when you are watching a movie, you are an active listener. When we're having conversations,
Yeah.
we're kind of like ready to respond, or, thinking about our next, where our thoughts are going to be present. When you're watching a movie, you're just digesting it all. You're reflecting on your past, you're thinking about how it applies to your life. And then when the best part, honestly, is not watching the movie. I mean, that's the fun part. And people aren't as afraid to go watch a movie,
Mhm.
but it's the conversation after with your community, whether it's virtual or in person. I used to be very insistent that it had to be in person, that you needed to witness your
Yeah.
own community, and then have those conversations because they were so organic. And we learned during COVID that it's just as powerful online. In fact, more people opened up online because they could do it anonymously. And just be
Yes.
able to say something, that whole name it to tame it thing, to be able to say to someone, I mean, I going back to your earlier question, like what was a big takeaway for me in making all of this, was that I learned I have social anxiety. And I
Mhm.
thought my whole life, all those decades, I won't say how many, I thought I was broken. I thought I was
Yeah.
a little bit less than everyone, and that was just who I was, and that was my life. But when I learned I was textbook social anxiety, suddenly it was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And so to have those gestalts, those revelations in from watching a movie,
Mhm.
um, you learn something and it stays with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. So I was wondering as well, what's the question you're asked most often in this work, and what do people really mean when they ask it? And you can, yeah, share that any way you want to share.
Well, the interesting thing, two things, is that people trust me. So
Yeah.
I feel very responsible and accountable with what comes out of my mouth and what I share, that it isn't just my own lived experience, but it's also that coupled with all the things I've learned from all of the professionals who are now my besties. Um,
Yeah.
and, I think that the number one most asked question that we get is, how do I know if myself or my child or a colleague has like extreme anxiety or an actual anxiety disorder? That's the number one question all the time. And the honest answer is, if you're not sure, go to your primary care physician, go to a counselor, go reach out for help. That's the first most powerful step you can do. And you don't have to have all the answers. I think as parents in particular, we feel like, or even educators, right, that we're supposed to have answers. And we don't. It's changing. We're learning more. It's really empowering to say, I don't know, but come on, we're going to figure this out together, because every human being is different.
Yeah, 100%. And I know, your movies and toolkit and all the aspects of what you offer will really create help-seeking behavior. And I think, yeah, a lot of people may not know where to go, but also you can direct them to other resources, perhaps, and people can find the help that they need and be inspired to do so by the work that you're doing. So I love that. So if someone is struggling, what's actually happening in their brain, and why does understanding this reduce stigma?
So it's interesting when you break it down. I love the brain science of it all. When I started to learn about that, I got really excited, and it didn't feel so scary, or we're not fighting anything. We're like, we're starting to learn about how to change our brains, because neuroplasticity is real, which means you can change your brain, just like we can constantly be learning new things. And so when you realize that there's the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, here's a great example that's easy to remember. Talking is a really powerful way to move the energy from the amygdala, which was where all the anxiety and the fear lives, to the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive function of the brain. And talking is so powerful because it uses 3 executive functions. One is there's an action. You are moving your lips. 2, you have to make a sound. And 3, you have to form a sentence. So sometimes, like, I used to be absolutely terrified to do something like this, or to do a keynote or something like that. And I used to have a little stone that I would rub, which would help. Or, but when I realized how powerful talking is, well, sometimes you don't have someone to talk to right before you're going to do something. So I learned a little brain hack. For me lately, what I've been doing is saying the months of the year backwards, quietly to myself. So like December, November, October, and that you can feel it. You can feel it start to do that. Another thing is like clapping or rhythmic snapping. And you start to do that. Some people love to breathe. Sometimes I like to breathe. Sometimes breathing stresses me out because I can't take a deep breath. Yeah. Then I get very nervous. It changes depending on the day, right? So there's so many music. Sometimes just a quick bit of music. I mean, you see it in movies where they're like bumping music when they're like on Wall Street and about to go do a big, presentation or something. But those are all trips, little tips to hack your brain.
Yeah. No, that's so strategic and very cool. I think when I go on these podcasts and into a big meeting, I should play some really electronica house music. I think that would really help me. I love these ideas. I think they're wonderful.
There's also like sound therapy, like the 432 hertz, which you can listen to for 30 seconds and reset your nervous system.
Oh, wow. That could be that's on Spotify and certain, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks for those tips. And just to move forward here, I'd like to know, if prevention worked the way that it should, what will we be teaching kids and adults much earlier than we do now?
The terminology, so they can know how to put words to those feelings that they're having, that those feelings that they're having are part of the human experience.
Yeah.
We are not broken, and that we are all kind of evolving and growing and changing at different times. So just because everyone else feels this way doesn't mean you're supposed to. And that is okay. Like, that's actually a beautiful thing. So if we can be teaching, I'm always a fan of giving kids and everyone, honestly, because it's not just kids, but parents, we're just kids in grown-up bodies, are the words and the tools to be able to navigate our own life so that we can model it for our kids, and that we don't have to have all the answers. Like, I don't know, I was that person, like I felt like I have 6 kids and I felt like I'd have all the answers. And when I realized there's no way anyone can have all the answers. And so when you can even model for your kids, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Like, you're showing them a path forward into the unknown. And that people are so afraid of the unknown, especially in today's world. Like, it's very scary about the unknown, the unfamiliar, the new, the change. We're going to get through it. We are so much stronger than we are ever led to believe. And I think we need to really empower kids with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're resilient as human beings. And I really identify with what you're saying. Yeah, as well, too. I was thinking about the brain, and we have Dr. Shimi Kang, who is a psychiatrist that works with Stigma-Free. And she said something about, and I was wondering your opinion on this, the brain is still developing till like literally we're 28 years old. And that we can, as you mentioned, rewire as we go, because as youth and then growing into early adulthood, we're still growing and developing, right?
Forever. You know, when you look at the senior population and how much they now are starting to adopt technology. And I mean, my mom, who's in her 80s, is just scrolling on social media and having the same exact issues as my kids were as teens. And so, like, this affects all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what's a small science-backed shift people can make today that will help regulate their nervous systems?
I think one of the things, well, you know, we hear about stress, right? Stress and anxiety, they're just bad. They're going to kill you. They're going to give you terminal illnesses. I think there's just so much bad info out there. I think stress and anxiety is a certain amount that you have in life, period. Like, it's just part of life, and it's actually okay. It's when it becomes too much that you have to be aware of what's the line. You know when to kick in and start administering some self-care or some boundaries. And I love brain hacks. So I actually wrote a book called the Creative Coping Toolkit, which it's just brain hacks. But one of the things, let me pick one so I don't overshare.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do two. One is, you know, not that we're able to see anyone, but if you use your phone as your alarm clock, the minute it goes off and you look at it, you are lighting up your brain with what's in your phone. And that is more interesting than anything around you, including the person next to you or what the sounds are outside. So get a regular alarm clock, or get one of those alarm apps where you can just shake the phone and you are not going to look at it, because those that light, those colors light the brain up. Second is, when I was making the Upstanders, which is the third film about bullying and belonging, and we are all bullies. And I thought, well, I'm not a bully. I was bullied. Like, I'm not a bully. But then when I wrote my book, I actually had an opportunity to go on the news to talk about it. And that morning I looked in the mirror, and the very first thing I said to myself when I looked at myself was, you didn't get enough sleep. You're all puffy. I don't think you should be wearing that outfit. Like, you blew it. Like, here's your chance. And I started to beat myself up. And that negative self-talk is creating more stress and anxiety for ourselves. And it is not doing ourselves any favor. And we are not modeling to the rest of the world how we want to be treated, or how they can talk to themselves so they can be treated better. So it's really powerful when you can catch yourself criticizing yourself. So maybe you can be on your game or whatever it is. We are our own coaches. Let's coach with compassion. Let's coach with kindness and push ourselves, right? And so I realized right then and there, and I said, Sheila, would you ever say that to another human being right before they're going to go on the news to talk about their book? What would you say? So I had to reframe it. Okay, you're so lucky that you have this opportunity. And I gave myself that talk, and boy, did that change everything. So now I'm being much more aware of that. And I will leave you with this, is that our words are so powerful. And okay, one last hack. I gave up words. I gave up try, and I gave up can't. And it was game changing. I don't try to lose weight. I don't try to save money. I don't try to be nice or be on time. I just am. And I don't say I can't, because I'm not a victim. Someone says, you want to join us Friday? Oh, I can't. No, I have other things I'm going to do, but thank you for inviting me. Like, it creates agency. It creates connection with yourself. And when you connect with yourself, you can connect with others in a healthier way.
Yeah. And I like that saying, like, would you talk to somebody else like the way we talk to ourselves? Because we're so critical. I completely totally identify with that and I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to do this. Just create, is a hack a vision board by chance? Is that maybe one of them?
Oh, well, I'm a fan of vision boards. I have my kids do it all the time. It's a fun thing to do. And, it helps you really focus your mind on your future and your dreams and your wishes. And I would strongly suggest, while there are wonderful vision board apps out there, go old school, cut magazines, do that, because it makes you even more intentional. The digital version just doesn't sink in as deep, and it doesn't change this is where I get woo-woo. It doesn't change your focus, your vibration, your energy. I'm all about energy. And when we can shape and harness our energy to be in line with what our values are, and not just to know our values, but to honor them.
Yeah, my husband and I, every year we create a ginormous vision board. It's very big and it sits on our dining room table most of the time. And we wrote out all the things that we want, but we didn't say we will or we'll try. We said, I am. So I really love what you're saying, because it's exactly what we're doing. I am a best-selling author that is published globally. I am all these dreams. And so, it just speaks life into it.
Oh, I love that. I am is powerful.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I'd like to talk about GiGi, the multilingual brain science-based mental health coach. Tell me about that. I'm so interested. What inspired its creation, and anything you'd like to share?
Well, I'm a big fan of technology. It is here to stay. So let's harness it. Let's use it for good. GiGi is, and I worked with my team to train GiGi to basically navigate the toolkit. It started off as just a really robust search. And then when one of my board members, who's like a super geek or super tech guy, he helped me build GiGi, which you can just talk to GiGi. And you can talk to GiGi about anything. GiGi is not a therapist. GiGi has been trained to detect distress and direct you to support, but mostly GiGi will work through the toolkit and provide responses. There are times that it's interesting that when I was building GiGi, we lost one of our sons to suicide. It's October 2024. And as I was, it was right before I was kind of training GiGi heavily. I wished I had someone to talk to. And we had an incredible network. I'm best friends with mental health professionals. And of course, they couldn't help me as much without talking to him directly. And he didn't want to talk to them. And, all the rules you have to follow. And I have in my role and what I do for the last 10 years, I have so much information, and we missed it. It was just a complete shock. And so, I started to really shape GiGi to be that resource that could be accessible at 2 a.m., that could help talk through something, that could help you enter a conversation, in a free way, in a fresh way. And so GiGi is really a compassionate, empathetic support for those. It's kind of like in the gaps, right? To get you to therapy, to encourage you to get help-seeking behavior, to help you name something, and also a lot of baked-in brain science. This is what's happening in your brain. So while you might feel like you don't want to be on the planet, but this is what's happening in your brain, and here's something you can do to get help.
Wow. It's going to save lives. I'm sure it saved many lives. And thank you for sharing your story, being so vulnerable. I feel for you, and thank you for sharing that. It can never be easy. So leading into, what's one thing you wish every parent, educator, or leader understood about? I know you said you're steering away a little bit from mental health, but maybe it's emotional regulation, mental health, mental wellness. So what's one, or maybe a couple of things you wish every parent, educator, and leader knew?
Wow, that is a really powerful question. And And I still am very much all about mental health. I'm just talking about it more from a brain science perspective.
Yes, and I love that. Yes.
I'm not fighting a stigma or like not, yeah, just everything felt like it was heavy lift. I was one of those parents that was, what is it? I always mess up this word, catastrophizes.
Yeah, catastrophizes.
Catastrophizes, thank you. And I just was showing my love and sharing my fear. Like they'd go out at night in the car and they were new drivers. And I'm like, be careful. I know you're a good driver, but other drivers, they're kind of crazy, or don't be out past midnight. Nothing good happens then. And watch out for this. And like, I would fill them with fear and I would project that on them, which made them feel like maybe that I didn't trust them so much.
Right.
And so I think as grown-ups, we have this cape on, like we have to rescue and fix.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is at the youngest age humanly possible is empower, make decisions with our kids together. Let students be part of decision-making for schools. Their voices need to be part of it. In families, kids need to be part of it. They should be advisors on the board, right? Like we have to do this together. Kids are learning and just progressing so much faster than we ever did. Gosh, remember the days when we were like, oh, I got to teach my kid how to balance a checkbook. They will never have to balance a checkbook, right? Like, so we have to work together. Technology is changing everything so fast. So be vulnerable as grownups. Don't feel like you got to rescue, fix, and know it all to make a kid feel safe or to keep them in line. If you if you show them that you believe they can make good decisions, more than likely they will. I know there's that science that is, well, boys' brains develop slower than girls' brains. So they're going to make poor decisions until they're 26. One of my sons said, is that true? And I said, that is not true for you. That's just, they've done some studies. That's what they seem to. No, it is programming boys to continue to make dumb choices, right? Like, I think there's brain science, and then there's like actual, like I'd say programming, but it's, it's giving them good information that, you know what, if you think something doesn't feel right, pause. Pause is the most powerful thing we can do on the planet before we do anything. Is pause, take a breath, check yourself, check your energy, then proceed.
Wow. Yeah. I have to say, this has been, I don't like to pick favorites. Obviously, I love all my guests, but this was very inspiring today. And I know what you're talking about with the youth, empowering them, right? Like, they're wise, be that guide for them, not the helicopter parent kind of thing that people talk about. But yeah, you really have some amazing insight, Sheila. And I'm so happy that you joined us today. But how can people find you, learn about your offerings, connect with you, websites? Please share. Where can people go?
Super simple, impactfulnetworks.com, networks plural, or they can go to the foundation and see impactfulfund.org.
All right, perfect. That's super simple. And I'm definitely will be sharing that on our social media. So
I'm on LinkedIn. So that's, I'm on there.
Yeah, LinkedIn is really good. That's where a lot of us are for sure.
Can I just say thank you for what you're doing in Canada? Like, we're on this mission together, and it is going to take all of us.
Yes, definitely. And I'm excited too for the day when we can expand into the States. I don't think it's that far off, as we do have a lot of uptake there with our programs, but partnering with organizations and people like you so we can do it together is just so powerful.
100%.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Please stay on the platform after I close off the podcast. I'd love to chat with you.
Okay.
And I'm just grateful to have you here today. And everybody, impactfulnetworks.com, correct?
Yep.
Got it. All right. So thank you for joining Stigma-Free Voices. You can find us on Spotify. We also have our episodes under our podcast link on stigmafreementalhealth.com. I hope you can visit our website. You can also watch it there. And yeah, definitely have a great day, everybody. And please know that in this world, it is up to all of us to create awareness, understanding, and the acceptance of ourselves and others. And we're in this together. So thank you for being part of the Stigma-Free community. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.